You and I can't help but notice every time we go fill our car that it costs a lot more money. Every time we go to the supermarket, we haven't got as much change in our pockets. And frankly, you know, I can think of better things that I really urgently need to spend my money on rather than face cream. And that is being reflected in the underperformance of the stock. And it will very likely be reflected in the earnings report when they come out. And if you think about it, you're in an incredibly privileged position, and so am I. Because you have quite a lot of, or I'm guessing, you have quite a lot more disposable income than somebody who's sitting in China, whose most immediate concern is to put fuel in his car and put food in the mouth of his children. And the last thing on his mind is putting some face cream on, or some sun cream on. He'll rather just go inside. So all these things are a reflection of what is happening, and that is fundamental analysis, ultimately. And that is now being reflected in the stock price, which is starting to fall. And, you know, if I was a betting man, and I am, I'd say that there's probably going to be a disappointment when they come out. Now, that's not inside information. That's just observing the knock-on effects, to go back to the umbrellas, sun cream, raining analogy, and saying, what are the knock-on effects of the credit crunch? Because the first one is the banks are all losing money. The second one is they're now withdrawing capital from the market. So from you and me, we're not being given as much credit. And the third one is that there's a side impact of commodity prices are going up all over the world. Food and energy prices are going up all over the world. So you, poor consumer, are not only getting higher food prices and higher petrol prices, but your mortgage is costing more. So you have a great deal less disposable income. Now, how much am I really going to be spending on face cream this year? A lot less. I'm certainly going to look at it and say, have I got some left in the cupboard? Have I actually got to the bottom of the bottle? Because normally,
yes.
you never get to the bottom of these things. You always chuck them away before because you find some other that looks like it's got an even better promise on the bottle. And off you go and buy some more. And that is just a microcosm of what is happening in something like the clothing retail sector, where really we've all been buying far many more clothes than we needed because they were just so cheap. And they're having two effects at the moment. Firstly, they're not as cheap as they were in 2 or 3 years ago because the Chinese currency has gone up, Chinese labour costs have gone up, and the cost of materials has gone up. So they're not as cheap as they were. And secondly, you haven't got as much money to spend on them.